Salem witches are extinct? Huh, please. You really think that? Then listen carefully, because this story isn't about the past. It's about now, 2025. Yeah, you heard that right, the Salem witches are still here. Their blood runs through presidents, Hollywood icons, and maybe someone watching this video right now. You're gonna want to stay for this. Alright, picture this. Winter 1692. Tiny Puritan village in Massachusetts, Salem. Two girls suddenly start screaming, twisting, claiming something invisible is hurting them. Doctors can't explain it. So what do? They blame witches. Classic, right? That's how it all started. Within weeks, the whole town went insane. And before the year was over, 19 people were hanged. One man was crushed to death under stones, and hundreds were accused. But here's the part that nobody talks about. Most of those witches? They had families. Their bloodlines didn't vanish. They survived. And some of their descendants? They're world famous. Stick around, because I'm about to tell you who, and it's gonna mess with your head. The first three. Let's rewind to the beginning, to the first three accused witches. 𝒃𝒆𝒏𝒆𝒂𝒕𝒉, the enslaved woman from Barbados. Sarah Good, a poor beggar who talked too much. Sarah Osborne, a widow who didn't go to church often enough. That's all it took. Wrong skin color, bad manners, or the audacity to think for yourself, boom, you're a witch. 𝒃𝒆𝒏𝒆𝒂𝒕𝒉 confessed after being beaten and scared half to death. She said she'd seen black dogs, red cats, and spirits flying around Salem. And you know what? That one confession lit the match. The town exploded. Neighbors accused neighbors, daughters accused mothers, even a 4-year-old girl, Dorothy Good, was thrown in jail. Yeah, they locked up a toddler. So, the next time someone tells you history was simpler back then, tell them about Salem. The trials. Now, here's where things get darker. They came up with something called spectral evidence. Basically, if someone said they saw your ghost in a dream, you were guilty. No proof, no logic, no defense. Can you imagine that? Someone says, I dreamed you scratched me, and that's it, you're on trial for witchcraft. Most of the accused were women, widows, healers, outsiders. People who didn't fit the mold. Sound familiar? The first to die was Bridget Bishop, and her biggest crime was wearing bright clothes. That's literally in the record. In a town that worshipped gray and black, a red ribbon was enough to get you hanged. People were terrified. And when fear takes over, logic dies first. Survivors. But not all of them died. Many survived, and their bloodlines kept going. And this is where the story gets wild. Take Abigail Faulkner, accused and sentenced to death, but spared because she was pregnant. She gave birth in prison, got pardoned, and lived. Her descendants are still alive today. Or Mary Bradbury, she escaped execution and lived into her 80s. Her family went on to include names like Ray Bradbury, Ralph Waldo Emerson, and even Christopher Reeve, yeah, Superman himself. And George Burroughs, a Puritan minister, was accused, hanged, and prayed the Lord's Prayer before dying. That's something witches supposedly couldn't do. His descendant? Walt Disney. You're starting to see the pattern, right? The people they tried to silence became legends. Bloodlines that never died. You ready for this? Modern DNA research shows that millions of people today descend from those trials. Historians say between 15 and 25 million worldwide. That includes actors, presidents, and creators you know. Let's start with one name you definitely recognize, Sarah Jessica Parker. Yeah, that's Sarah Jessica Parker. Turns out she's a descendant of Esther Elwell, who was accused during the Salem trials but escaped punishment. She died peacefully in her sleep. This fact was confirmed again in 2025 by Time Out Moscow. And the irony? Sarah Jessica Parker played a witch in Hocus Pocus. So she literally became what her ancestor was accused of being. You can't make this stuff up. And then there's Meryl Streep. Her family traces back to Joseph Healey and Mary Holden, connected to the Salem events. So one of the world's most powerful actresses descended from people accused of witchcraft. William Howard Taft, former U.S. president, was a descendant of George Jacob Sr., executed in 1692. He's also linked to the famous town sisters Rebecca Nurse, Mary Eastie, Sarah Wilds, all accused, two hanged. And of course, Walt Disney, as we said, descendant of a man executed as a witch. Now tell me that's not poetic. Salem's bloodline didn't die. It just became famous. Present-day witches. Now, let's fast forward to today, 2025. We love witchcraft now, don't we? It's aesthetic. It's trendy. We put pentagrams on necklaces and call it fashion. But somewhere out there, real descendants of the Salem accused are still living quietly. Some know, some don't. And when they visit Salem, many say they feel something like the ground remembers. Every year, hundreds of descendants visit the Salem Witch Museum. Some cry, some bring family trees. They say standing there feels heavy, like centuries of voices whispering in your ear. Whether you believe in energy or not, trauma has a way of passing through generations. Science even has a name for it, epigenetics. It's memory that doesn't live in your head, it lives in your DNA. So maybe, just maybe, the witches didn't die. They adapted. And then this. Speaking of adapting, let's talk about something strange. There's a country where witchcraft is still, well, kind of regulated. No joke, in Eswatini, formerly Swaziland, flying on a broomstick higher than 150 meters is against the law. It's part of their aviation code from 2013. Witches on broomsticks, it says not allowed above 500 feet. It's half humor, half law, but it's real. See what I mean? Even in the 21st century, humans still write laws about witches. We never really stopped fearing them. We just learned to laugh about it. From curses to crowns. Now think about this. For centuries ago, they killed women for being loud, independent, or creative. Today, their descendants run Hollywood and shape culture. Sarah Jessica Parker, Meryl Streep, Walt Disney, the Bush family, Taft. Same blood that once was hunted, now on red carpets and in the White House. The witch trials didn't erase them. They made them unforgettable. What if the real witchcraft was survival? That's the part they never taught you in history class. When people visit Salem now, they expect ghost stories. But what they find is something deeper: guilt, memory, and strange pride. The descendants talk about it like a shadow heavy, but also empowering. Maybe that's the curse, to forever carry the memory of injustice. Or maybe it's the gift, to turn it into power. Because look at history. Every witch burned became a story told louder. Every woman silenced became a symbol. Every death became a voice. So, do you still think Salem witches are gone? You can burn a body, you can bury a name, but you can't erase a whisper. Every time someone says witches were just a myth, a shadow stirs in the air above Salem. A cold wind passes through the trees. And if you listen close enough, you might still hear them calling. They never wanted revenge. They wanted to be remembered. And in 2025, they are. Through bloodlines, through stories, through the quiet hands that light candles when no one's watching. The witches of Salem didn't vanish. They moved among us, hidden behind new faces, new names, and quiet smiles that know too much. History calls it hysteria. But maybe it was a warning. Be careful who you call a witch. Because sometimes she answers. And now you know, the curse never ended. It just changed its shape. You've been listening to Myths of the Blood Moon. Like this video. If you dared to listen till the end, and whisper in the comments, which darkness should we summon next? Subscribe and remember, the darkness always has a story to tell.